Welcome back to Frontside Press. There's Jeff, Mike, and Julie. Or Jeff, Julie, and Mike, depending on how you're looking at it on the. All right. And when you get cranked up, we are 8-ish. So like a chair, like a chair, like a chair. Go to Musings with MGL. Get up on that. Subscribe to him. Let's get him over 1,000 someday. Someday.
Someday.
Where you at?
Every day. Every day I'm further and further away.
Where you at right now?
I don't know. Same as always, I think. 9:38, 9:35, something like that. So close.
Right?
And yet, so far. We'll get there.
So, how you doing tonight, Jeffrey?
Good. Living the dream as always. It's hot. It's raining.
Florida.
People be getting arrested. Typical.
Good for you.
Typical day. Trying to think. Nothing interesting. Super this week. I got a. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it later. I got an interesting question somebody asked me over the weekend. So when we get into it, actually kind of might bleed in a little bit to the topic that we're talking about here tonight. So I'll bring it up later and I'll ask you your thoughts on it. But yeah, just still getting stupid questions. Still seeing stupid comments on Facebook. Can I carry at the Raymond James Stadium now that the new law has been put into place? Can I carry at the professional?
Raymond James.
Right. Can I carry at the Professional Bull Riding Association now that the new law has been put into place? Yada, yada, yada. Somebody tried to carry a gun. Somebody tried to carry a gun in the courthouse again the other day. I don't know if they thought it was because of the new law.
Now that we have constitutional carry.
Right. Or they were just dumb. But in they go. I'll tell you a funny story about that offline, but it happened to me. It happened right in front of me. So I want to say about 8 months ago, and I did a video on this. I was going into the courthouse, and the lawyer in front of me had a gun in his briefcase. And so, they hollered, gun, gun, gun. Everybody comes out. Let me see your permit, et cetera, et cetera. And then I did a whole video on don't bring your guns to the courthouse. And then about a week ago, there was a civilian, I guess that lawyer's a civilian, but a non-lawyer person going in the courthouse. Same thing. Take their purse off, put everything through the thing, not thinking about it. Boom, 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 gun, gun, gun. Everybody comes out. Don't bring your gun in the courthouse.
Even with the new law?
Right, yeah, even with the new law. And I don't think the lawyer one was before the new law came out, so he obviously was just stupid. That's what some people. Nobody should carry, we've talked about this before, nobody should use their range bag for basically any other bag. I believe you should have a designated range bag that your gun and ammo goes in. You shouldn't use your backpack from school or your luggage that you travel in. You should have a designated range bag. But I can sort of see if you're packing to travel and maybe you might use that same bag. But why does a lawyer have his gun in his briefcase? Does he use his briefcase when he goes to the range? Is that what he transports his gun in to the range? Does he put his? I didn't under. It was it was a briefcase. It wasn't like a satchel or like a messenger bag. It was your typical looking briefcase, and I just don't understand why there's a gun in. Under what circumstances would you be walking around with a gun in your briefcase? Because as a lawyer, you can't go anywhere other than your own office, I guess maybe he would, but then it should be on his person, because what the hell good is it going to do you in your briefcase if you get attacked in the parking lot on your way to your office? So I just couldn't figure out a scenario why next to his legal briefs he had his firearm, but he did.
We have 16 people watching.
Oh wow,
nice!
That's the biggest. That's one of the biggest numbers we've had in a while.
Great.
Well, that you've been on the show.
Ask every single one of them if they've subscribed to Musings with MGL, and if not, they need to go subscribe right now.
No, you gotta get on. You gotta get on YouTube. Let me itch my ear because I'm having allergies.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
So
or they
we
have to leave.
Oh, he's supposed to call me.
Pickles on, Kathy Kemp. We
Damn.
have Jimmy Kemp.
You know they took their first flight last weekend,
I
right?
know. First
I was on
ever.
pins and needles.
Yeah. I told Kathy, chew some gum.
Yeah.
It'll help.
All right, everybody, get their glasses. Get their glasses. We're gonna do a toast so we can get on this.
Yeah. Good stuff to talk about.
See?
Yeah.
All right.
You ready?
I don't know. Where's the toast thing?
What'd you do with it?
It's right here. Second.
There you go.
Well, I'll put my glass on. I'll actually read it. You know, just like,
Got the dyslexia.
Michael's got this dyslexia. He could have been an officer. You know, Gabriel does that now, right?
Oh no.
All right, here we go. Everybody got their glass? Everybody got a beverage? Remember, it's got to be, you can't be toasting with water. We're only here for a short time. Let's make it a good time.
Woo-hoo, yeah.
All right. So,
Oh, Nezzy's on.
that's it.
Al Newman.
Damn.
Adam.
Does anybody know what our topic is tonight? Did anybody put it on? Not us, we know, but like, did anybody put it on the Front Side Press Facebook or anything to say, hey, tune in tonight because this is what our topic's going to be? Or are we just going to drop the bomb on them?
Nope, I put it up.
Sweet. I have been in court
Put it
all
up.
day, so I have not been following on Facebook.
We're
So-
running.
Because this is one of the rare times where we actually have a topic to talk about. We're not just coming on here and talking about Joe Biden's latest falling downstairs or something. We actually have a specific topic to discuss.
Lana's on too.
Wow.
Dora.
It is a good show tonight.
It is.
Yeah, I like it. Good.
We're gonna be doing this
All right,
night.
so
I'm allergic to.
what is the topic?
The topic
What are we
is
talking
picking out your self-defense, concealed carry, and I put tool because I didn't want Facebook being dicks because they're a bunch of candy ass pansies. You know what I mean? So we just left it at that. So we're gonna help you out. Now feel free to comment. All right. And Soto, you gotta give me a call, man. You gotta come see the new place. Jeffrey, you need to come see the new place. You haven't seen the new place yet.
I'm aware.
See it Sunday.
I go check out. I need to go check out my new office space.
You got a new? Yep, it's upstairs. You're sharing it with
Right.
Gabriel and
Yeah. I'll be more than happy to share it with them. Like I said, they can 3-hole punch. They can bring me coffee.
There you go.
All right. So we're talking about picking it up.
Your first. Are you talking about your first ever? Let's say you're a cold person off the street. You've never owned a firearm tool in the history of your life, and you want to go out and buy your first ever carry firearm. These are some tips / thoughts, advice on how to do that. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, and it goes for everybody. It's not like a
Sure.
I'm not a get a beginner's gun. You need a beginner's gun so you can learn how to use it, and then later on you can start doing it all over and learn how to do it on a real gun. So I'm not like I don't start people on 22s.
Whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I have been in numerous stores where the woman comes in and says, I need a firearm. And the guy behind the counter is like, well, what you need is a revolver because you're not going to be able to.
Because you're not smart enough.
With your hands. You need something that's like a 22 or a 22 mag because it's not going to have a lot of recoil. You should really get this plastic revolver because it's not real heavy, so it'll fit real nice in your purse. Are you telling me that's wrong? You're telling me that that's bad advice?
No, I mean, if you're an idiot, that's great advice. But if you're not, then yeah, that's bad advice. But I don't know. I don't know who's talking.
Well, and I guess ultimately maybe that might be the right firearm for that person, but I guess the theory is you shouldn't just
I
assume.
doubt it.
Probably
I
not.
really doubt it. It's like this.
All right.
Understand this, okay? We are
So lay it
talking
out for
about
us.
the best tool for the job. Right? You guys understand that? Like, understand that I could use my thumb for self-defense. All right? It doesn't make it better than a SIG 229. That's just the way it is. So before everybody starts with that, well, it's good enough. I got a pointy stick that I walk around with. Okay, it doesn't make that pointy stick is not better than the Glock 19. I don't give a shit. All right, you guys, you gotta understand that. So what we're trying to do is try to pick out the best tool, but you have to understand what the guidelines are, what your rules are. All right. So first, make sure you get a gun before anything else. Make sure you get a gun that'll do what you need it to do. Does everybody understand that? I don't give a shit about, well, this little Ruger 22, it fits in my hand, right? Well, great. You could shoot somebody in the stomach, maybe give them diarrhea. That's awesome. Maybe they'll run away and go to the bathroom and stop attacking you. Okay.
Maybe you'll get attacked by squirrels.
That's what I said. I said that to a lady today. I said, do you plan on getting attacked by a rabbit?
Right.
It's understand what you're trying to do, and I don't give a shit. Your friend's next door neighbor cousin, knew a guy in New York PD or whatever. Like, that's awesome. That nobody in that chain is an expert. That's all I'm saying. It's you got to understand it all plays out the same way. It always plays out the same way. And you know what everybody ends up with? 9 millimeter. 9 millimeter. All right. The lady today had a little Ruger thing, like just awesome, awesome lady to give a lesson to. Showed up with a notebook, opened it up, started taking notes, started writing everything down, right? And then I looked, I go, what do you got? And I opened it up, I'm like, why do you get this? Well, they told me that I couldn't rack the slide. And right there, I'm like, hold on.
Yep. I'm telling you.
I'm holding gun, put the
I
bag
hear
and
that
come over.
all the time when I go to stores or gun shows. I hear that shit all the time.
So we have a comment that we need to address.
All right.
We shoot to stop the threat, not the other reason.
So what is
not to kill?
Who said what?
Joy O'Brennan.
What's it say?
It says shoot to kill. No other reason to fire. No, you're wrong.
No, don't do that. You're gonna ask the lawyer about that and see how
shoot to stop the threat.
How that plays out for you. So don't get all I've had guns all my life. All right. You got to understand what your gun is for self-defense. All right. It's defensive. Now, if God forbid, we ever have to use it, all right, we're going to try to be as offensive as we can while we're being defensive. But don't pull out a gun unless you absolutely have to shoot somebody, because it's not going to work out for you. They do not throw you a parade. They do not carry you around on the shoulders. I mean, even Eli Dickin, they tried to bring him up on charges.
Yeah.
Right. So you can ask Jeff about that. Am I off base on this?
No, I mean, look, from a legal perspective, I mean, I've recently had a case where I've actually had a lot of these cases. We actually discussed it when Gutmatcher was on. A lot of people get in like road rage incidents or fights or whatever, and they think the other person is going to do something, and so they pull out their firearm and brandish it basically to scare the other person or to lower the thing, or they say that they're pulling it out just to get it in the ready position in case they need to use it. But what happens is if it's preemptive because that person hasn't really done anything to you yet, what you're committing is an aggravated assault. You're not using it properly. I believe, as you say, the only reason you should ever pull your firearm is because you have to shoot somebody. If you're not in an imminent fear of death or great bodily harm, you shouldn't be pulling your firearm. You shouldn't pull it out to scare them. You shouldn't pull it out to get it in the ready position so that you could just draw faster than you could before. Because the problem is The minute the person sees that firearm, they call the cops and they say, hey, I didn't do anything. I was just standing there yelling at him. And all of a sudden I saw the guy pulled out a firearm. And then they go interview the guy or girl. And the person says, yeah, I pulled it out because I thought they were going to do something. So I was getting like in the ready position or whatever. And they're like, but they hadn't done anything yet.
A preemptive strike.
Or they say that they pulled their firearm out. And then the client or whoever says, no, I never pulled out my firearm. Yet the person can describe it. Oh, it was silver. It was an automatic. It had a black handle. And then the person, I didn't pull my gun out. And then they search their car, and guess what they find? A silver gun. That's automatic. And then they're like, well, you know how many silver guns out there, right? But the coincidence of them saying exactly what your gun is doesn't jive with you not pulling it out. So the fact of the matter is, you should not be pulling your firearm out unless you intend on shooting somebody. You should not be pulling your firearm out to try and scare people away or to get in a more ready position or whatever. Your firearm should basically already be ready or carried on you in a way that allows you to access it in a quick manner. If you have to remove it from somewhere to put it somewhere else because you think it's going to be easier to access, what's going to happen is the person's going to see that and they're going to go, oh my God, they threatened me with a gun, and you're going to get arrested for aggravated assault. So yeah, and obviously don't shoot to kill. It's always shoot to stop the threat, because if you're shooting to kill, that's not self-defense. Like, that's murder by definition.
Remember, like, this is what, like, I love this saying, and the first time I heard it, I decided I was going to use it all the time, right? Because it's so true. In order to defend yourself, you must commit a felony. That's it. Like, people think that, they're automatically right because everybody on the planet knows that they're the good guy and they didn't do anything wrong. And there's a bunch of good guys in jail. I'll tell you that.
Right. Well, in self-defense, by definition, it is a defense. So from a legal definition, it's still defense. If you're claiming self-defense, that's your legal defense to the crime, as you said, that you've basically committed. They're affirmative defenses. So you shoot somebody, you're acknowledging that you shot somebody, you're just saying you did it in self-defense. That's a defense that you have to present in court. I mean, Florida now has to stand your ground where technically it's their job to show that it wasn't self-defense, but regardless, it's still the position that you have to take to justify what your actions were. If you can't justify your actions, then you get convicted of that felony that you committed. But yes, anytime you pull out a firearm and shoot somebody, by definition, you're committing a felony. You're just saying, I have a defense to why I committed that felony. But that's you're still breaking the law. You're correct.
He's a good lawyer.
Yep. Yep.
So how do you pick out your first gun? So when a woman comes in and says, I want to pick out a gun to kill somebody. I want to come in and pick out a gun to kill somebody. What gun should I pick out?
No.
Nope.
We don't sell those kind of guns here, ma'am.
No, we don't sell murder weapons. You gotta, there's a lot of things you want to take into consideration when buying it. So first thing, like I said, make sure the gun will do what you need it to do. All right, so right off the bat, let's make sure we have the right caliber. And here's what I'm going to tell you. 9mm, 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 9mm. Like, I don't want to hear about 40. I don't want to hear about 45, 357 Magnum. Like, I don't care. 9mm, 9mm, 9mm. We want to fight two ways. We want to fight fast, and we want to fight accurate. All right. What the hell? What are you doing?
What is that noise?
What are you doing?
I've got, my daughter was using the freaking podcast.
Don't blame her.
Prep her. Look, she was using it to prep her freaking school shit, and I have all this little piece of fucking shit everywhere all over my table. Sorry, go ahead.
Ding.
So we want to get calibers, and I don't want to get into big arguments over stuff. So don't say anything about stupid calibers.
Shot placement is more important than caliber, sir.
That is true. That's why we want 9mm. Get less recoil. So, 9mm, 380, 38 special. If you want to grow up to be a cowboy, whatever. Okay. Going to 9mm, you're getting basically the same wound channel, but you have a lot more recoil. So it doesn't make any sense. And you have less bullets. So stick to 9mm. Well, God carried a 45. Well, God can do whatever he wants. All right? But you should carry a gun that holds more than 7 friggin' bullets. And it's this big, and it weighs as much as a rear end to a Buick. Okay? So we want magazine capacity because it is important. And as far as caliber goes, 9mm. Let's get 9mm. All right? Now,
Sorry, go ahead.
you want 9mm's got plenty enough stopping power. All right. Once again, shot placement trumps everything. All right. If I shoot a 44 Magnum at you and I miss, and you shoot a 22 long rifle at me and hit me in the eye, guess who wins? All right. So, shot placement over everything, but it's going to be a lot easier to get good shots with 9mm than it is 40, 357 SIG, 357 Magnum, 45, stuff like that. All right. You want good magazine capacity, like 12 is usually my number. I'm not telling you I don't carry a 43X sometimes with a 10-round mag in it, but you got to realize that statistics say that you are more likely to get attacked by more than one person than you are by one person. All right. So
Yes, but statistics also say that most self-defense shootings are 2 rounds or less. So Joe Biden says you don't need more than 2 rounds.
that's right, because and if I was betting my life on what an idiot says, I probably wouldn't have this whole paper in front of me.
Now it is true. I'm somewhat joking. It is true that statistically speaking, most self-defense cases are around 2 rounds or less. But okay, so then you have 10 rounds that you haven't used. Guess what? Now you've saved money on ammo because you haven't used the rounds. It's like any other tool. It's better to need it, or better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So, 2 rounds may get you out of most self-defense shootings, but it's not going to stop you from the idiot in the mall or the movie theater or the multiple attackers.
Right. I would bet money that the 2-round thing comes from people that think they just need to shoot 2 rounds.
Tell the story about Travis's shooting.
So my buddy Travis, okay, he was on duty and he got attacked by somebody on PCP, and the guy charged him. Okay, the guy was running at him, shooting at him, and Travis put 15 rounds from a Glock 19 in the paper plate right on his chest. Okay. What happened is the guy ended up suffocating as he ran at him, and he literally died right at Travis's feet.
He was reloading to shoot him some more.
And Travis was reloading to shoot him some more. All right, so it's like this. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but if there are people out there that believe that they're only going to need 2 shots, good luck to you. All right? Your job is to stop the threat before the threat stops you. So good luck with 2 rounds. All right, good luck with 6 rounds. People are shooting people with friggin' rifles nowadays. If you want to take a 5 or 6 round gun into a gunfight with a guy with an AR-15 or an AK, I don't think you have a good plan. All right? We're not planning for best case scenario. Planning for worst case scenario. Now, I don't think you need to be driving around with a vest on or anything like that. But you got to look at what's going on in the world, and to show up to a gunfight with 6 rounds probably isn't the best plan. That's all I'm saying. So
yeah, this is actually from the NRA. Depending on which source one chooses to study, the average number of rounds fired in a deadly encounter is between 2 and 4, which is probably true. But that's the average, right? That's probably true. The average is 2 to 4. So some people would be 6 to 8. Some people, I don't know how. Well, I don't know how you can average a 2. Is it 0? Like how the hell you count that if it's 0? So was it a 1 to 5? I guess maybe, I don't know, but yeah. I mean, look, again, I don't deny that statistically, if you add up all the times a gun is used, it's probably 2 to 4 shots. But again, you prep for being the outlier, in my opinion, because again, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Look at Elijah Dickens and look at Travis.
Yep. Elijah Dickens fired 10 rounds at a guy, hit him 8 times. The guy was still crawling away. You know, it was a good thing that the guy was
he probably would have solved it.
You know, I mean, the guy died because he hit him so many times. But if he was, wasn't a candy ass coward, he may have still been fighting with that AR. You can't plan for people to run away just because you want them to. Some people aren't going to. They're going to keep coming at you.
So you need a decent capacity.
Yep.
Minimum 10, 12.
I'll give you 10, even though I don't like that number, but I'll give you 10.
Well, and I'm just trying to think. I guess I'm just trying to think. I'll try to play devil's advocate, I guess. So let's say firearms are tools, and every job requires a different tool, and every situation requires a different tool. So what you might be able to carry in one situation may not be what you can carry in another. So, for example, if I'm just wearing my normal Florida clothes, a shirt like this and pants, it's easy for me to carry a 10 to 12 round firearm. But if I'm wearing a suit because I have to do something legal, or if you're walking your dog at night wearing your sweatpants and a t-shirt, is it always practical to be able to carry a 10 to 12 round firearm?
You're skipping way ahead.
Carry something different?
You're skipping to the last thing we're going to talk about.
Okay, that's fine. Sorry, go back.
We can talk about that. It's like this. Excuse me. If I go out for a walk in the morning, I'm taking my dog out or whatever, I'm not going to put my Springfield Prodigy with 25 round 9mm mag in it, and carry an extra 25 rounds. I got my 50 rounds on me in case a riot breaks out. All right. I take my G42 with its 6-round magazine and one in the chamber, put it in my sweats or my shorts, tie the rope as tight as I can get it, and just go out with a little gun. I'd rather have that than a knife.
Right.
Always carry a knife. Always carry a knife. Everybody carry a knife. Carry at least one knife. Carry 2 knives. Carry 3 knives. Carry knives.
Yep. In my pocket.
There you go. All right. Carry knives. Everybody should carry a knife. All right. But, I try not to go anywhere without a gun on. I don't want to walk into a situation where I don't have a gun. It's just simple. I'm not paranoid. I'm not afraid of anything. I just don't want to. I want to get shot by somebody because I don't have a gun and die with a bunch of guns at my house. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I guess right. I've always thought that people should. Anything's better than nothing. I mean, we make fun of the 22s or whatever, but nobody really wants to get shot with a 22. So obviously, we'd rather you carry that than nothing else. So even if you are looking at situations where you have to carry something rather than your normal gun, that's fine. What I concern myself is with concealed carrying is you do have to find something that you are going to carry every day. So like you said, it's what's the situation. So don't go out and buy your first gun as being a huge 45 that weighs 10 pounds, because you're not going to carry that everywhere you go. You're going to carry it like the first couple of days thinking that you're badass. And then you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to run up to 7-Eleven. Oh, I don't really want to grab the gun because it's too heavy, or I'm not wearing the right type of clothes. It's easier just to leave it home, or I don't want to go back to my car to get it because it's not going to look good in these pants that I'm wearing. So pick out all the practical stuff like you're talking about with capacity and everything. But I think the most important thing when picking out a firearm is pick one that you're going to carry, because there's no point in buying one if you're just going to leave it sitting at home or in your car because you don't feel like carrying it because it's too big, it's too uncomfortable, or whatever.
Here's what I'm going to say about that. Okay, carry the friggin' gun.
Right.
You either live the lifestyle or don't. All right, that's it. It's like if you look down on the paper, it says comfort. All right, what's to say next to comfort? Forget about it. You're not going to be comfortable. All right. So
well, that's what Skinny used to say. Skinny used to say concealed carry is not about comfort, it's about safety.
That's it. You know, you got to understand that you got to have the gun on you, and it's not going to feel good. Like I listen to all these people talk about their appendix holsters and how comfortable they are, right? And the whole time they're talking, all I can hear in my head is bullshit, because they're not, right? Oh, you got the wrong holster. How can something that you jam in your pants and every time you sit down it sticks you in the loins, how can that be comfortable? You know what it is?
It does.
It's like your first sip of beer, and I'll say it over and over and over again. Who enjoyed their first sip of beer? Nobody. You're like, right? And what do they say? Oh, it's an acquired taste. Yeah, I'll mix it with orange juice, whatever. You know what I mean? It's an acquired taste, okay? Same thing with carrying like appendix. And it's acquired taste. It keeps jamming you in your loins, okay? Well, you're not setting it up right. I don't give a shit, all right? There's nothing you can tell me that you can put something that big in the front of your pants that it doesn't jab into you.
Well, you're still talking about the gun?
The holster.
Yeah, and then it also pops up. It also pops up on your belt and like sticks out forward. I'm constantly like trying to adjust my shirt to make sure I cover it. So yeah, it's comfortable. It's generally comfortable when I'm walking around, but right, whenever you sit down or bend over, it's not comfortable.
That's it.
And then for ladies too, because we dress differently, we need a lot of different guns, a lot of different holsters, different ways to carry for us. It's not as easy for us as it is for you guys. So buy lots of guns, ladies.
You know, it's just
that's why I said different tools for different jobs. Like you, I have my full size that I carry if I go somewhere, a mall, movie theater, somewhere where I know there's going to be large crowds and I can wear bulkier clothes. I'll carry something that has large capacity with extra magazines. But right, if I'm just going to walk the dog, or again, when I go to court, you know, I can get concealed holsters and all that kind of stuff. But when you're tucking in a suit shirt at some point, like it doesn't fit. Like I don't carry it to court, so I guess I shouldn't say that. But there are places I do go in a suit that isn't like a courthouse. I'll go to mediation maybe, or another lawyer's office, or sometimes I go give speeches about guns and I carry my firearm with me. So I got to have I can't carry a full Glock 19 with an extra mag when I'm wearing my fancy suit, but I can carry a 43 or a 42 or something that's got a little bit more concealability. So, but we're talking about your first gun, your main carry gun. So you got capacity, you got caliber, comfort we just talked about. What else are you looking for?
How well you can use it. Like, is it too complicated? Like, I'll give you a gun that's too complicated. The Smith & Wesson M&P, was it? EZ. It's got like 48 safeties on it, right? Because they designed it for women, and we wouldn't want them to shoot themselves. No, we're going to put a bunch of safeties on it. How come we didn't put all these safeties on the shield? Well, those are more designed for men. You know, it's just
that's right, damn it.
Like 9 friggin' safeties on a gun. The gun is designed not to work.
So we have a question here.
Who is it?
Roger Johnson says, we're going to discuss off-body carry. I don't, but I know that those who do.
Well, I was actually just going to bring that up in the conversation you were having. The reason why the women's guns have all those safeties is because they throw them in their purses with their lipsticks and their makeups and their eyeliners. And so when they're digging around in there, trying to get out their lipstick and their tampons or whatever before they go into the bathroom, they might click the trigger, boom, gun goes off in the purse. So that's why they got to.
So what you're saying, basically what you're saying is, what are they doing out of the kitchen anyways? Is that what you're saying?
Right. They should have their rape whistle and their man with them.
Rape whistle.
I'll take my knife over there.
Yeah.
But you can't tell me. I guarantee you that's why they put extra safeties on firearms that they think women are going to buy, because they believe it's a sexist thing. They believe they throw them into their purse with all their shit, and somebody's going to dig around in there and fire the damn gun.
Bullshit.
Who has more negligent discharges, women or men?
I didn't say that was true. I said I believe that there's
are the men digging around in their purse and the lipstick's getting into it. I mean, it's 2023. No one knows a man or
there probably are a lot of men digging around in their purses. But I'm not saying it's true. Why is everybody yelling at me? I didn't say it's true. What I'm saying is I believe that the manufacturers, because they have the same mentality when the women come in and they say, you have to have a revolver because you're not going to be able to work the slides. You need to have a 22 because it's got to have a recoil. I guarantee you, if that is a firearm, as you're saying, that was marketed for women, that's why it's got extra safeties on it, is because they believe women are just tossing them in their purses and carrying them around. It's not right. I'm just saying I believe that that's probably what there is.
No.
So what about off-body? What about off-body?
I guarantee you're right. It's the same way Smith & Wesson still makes J-frame revolvers. And for women, like, well, you know, they're not strong enough to rack the slide. Oh, but that 10-pound trigger.
Oh, God.
Right, yeah.
They're strong enough for that.
On a fire, you worry about the recoil, but you made your firearm out of plastic and it weighs like 8 ounces. So it doesn't matter what ammo you put in there, it's going to have freaking heavy recoil. All right, so Julie, what about off-body carry?
Off-body, sometimes I have to carry in my purse. It's rare. I normally have it on my body, depending on which gun I'm carrying, how I'm dressed. But occasionally I have to have it in my purse. But you have to learn how to draw out of whichever way you're going to carry. You have to learn how to draw. Right. So you have to practice. So, Mike, do you have a list of really good guns for self-defense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're looking for a gun, we're going to give you a quick look, and we have pictures because I actually did research for the show. Very proud of myself. You think that would make Jeff happy, but he's never freaking happy.
Real quickly, when you off-body carry on purses, this is the advice I always give people. You might do the same thing. Carry it across this way, like over your head, like an Indiana Jones satchel. Because if you just throw it over your shoulder, like you see people carry purses, somebody comes by and purse snatches you and grabs your purse and runs off. Now they got your purse and your firearm. Regardless of firearms, I think if people carry purses, they should find some that carry cross-body, because people can't just come up and grab your purse and take it off. And if you're going to carry in your purse needs to be with you at all time. Don't put that shit down at your chair at the dinner table and then say, I'm going to go to the bathroom and be right back, or go into the bathroom and put it down on the ground and somebody reaches under and snags your bag. So that's just standard safety stuff for the bag in general. But if you're going to put a firearm in your bag, you need to double make sure that you have that bag on you at all times. So you need to make sure that you practice drawing safely, and you need to keep that bag with you at all times. That goes for men, women, fanny packs, whatever. Don't be leaving that shit laying around.
But your pistol has to be in a holster, secured inside your purse. So every time you go for it, it's in the same place. And it needs to be separate from your lipsticks and pens and all that other garbage. So
right. Well, they make a bunch of those purses, right? Don't they make carry purses that have the separate pouches? You can go in from the side, underneath. There's lots of products out there, ladies, men, whoever. If you want to search for stuff, just look for it. It's not like the old days, where you just throw your shit in your purse next to your makeup.
Okay, so what do you got for good guns,
What
Mike?
you got? You got some suggestions?
Yep. Carrie, you ready? I'm going to give you one. So give me the SIG P320. I think it's on the X carry. All right. So the X carry is a great carry gun. All right. The 320 is one of my main carries. I carry the compact size, which is the size up from that, but not the jumbo size. All right. Equal choice to this is the Glock G19. All right. So you're never going to go wrong with a Glock. The 19
Perfection.
is the size.
But you should get yourself a Mad Dog trigger if you're going to get a Glock.
That's right. Call up Johnny Glocks. Get yourself a Mad Dog trigger in there. See how I roll. All right. Sticking in the Glock family, we're going to go to the now. When we say the 19, all right, that covers the G45, which is the 19 size slide with a 17 size frame. That covers the G17. All right, that covers the G26, which is the smaller version of the 19. All right. But we're also what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw up the 43X. So I want to talk about that real quick. All right, hold on, I got something coming up on the screen. So the 43X, this is what the big deal about that is. It's got a 43 size slide, which is the tiniest 9mm they make. But it's got the G48 frame, which is the same silhouette basically as the G19. All right, now this is a single stack 10 round mag. You can get 15 round mags for it. All right, that sit flush, so you're not giving up anything. But it's a third thinner than a 19, even though the grip is the same profile. All right, a lot of people like that. Before anybody asks, yes, put red dots on everything. Do I put red dots on all my guns? No. You know, I love red dots, but I still like sights. All right. Going back to SIG.
What about lasers? Lasers.
What's that?
What about lasers?
Yeah, lasers were cool. 1993 or whatever.
Predator 2.
You know, like red dots.
Hey, your sister's watching. Hey, Linda.
Run.
So you're not big into the lasers?
No, I mean I'll put them on a rifle.
Sure.
You know, but I'd rather have a red dot on a pistol. That doesn't mean they won't work for you. One thing about that is most of them are like laser grips or something like that. I'm left-handed and it shoots right into the back of my right thumb in my grip. So, you know, you do you, bro. You do you, boo.
My only thought I ever heard about the lasers, and I don't know if it's true, is that if you're constantly training with the laser, like that's what you zone in on for your shooting,
yep.
And then if you go to use it and the laser doesn't work, it might cause a hesitation or whatever in the shooting because you're so trained to shooting where the laser is. The laser doesn't come on, and it just might hesitate you or confuse you a little bit.
Yeah, I mean that's why I try to teach everybody to use sights.
Right. Because they're always going to be there.
Use your sights. You know. Another gun, the SIG P365 XL.
Mm-hmm.
All right, great little gun. Both Julie and I both carry those. Both of us we have red dots on them. All right, the gun that is just a phenomenal shooting gun. I'll tell you that. All right, it's just a great shooting gun. That is an autopilot gun. It's small but holds 15 rounds. It's very light to carry, very compact. So from here, the H&K EP9. All right, this is their subcompact version of it. I have some trigger time on a VP9, and I got to tell you, as much as I think that company is just a bunch of dickheads, that gun is just a great gun. All right, so if you got the money to afford one, have at it. You know, from here at CZ, the P10, great gun. Different. They got it all different sizes. I really like that gun. I got some trigger time on that, and I loved it. A lot of these guns we're talking about, I don't have because I just can't. I can't find a gun that will replace my my SIG or my Glock. All right, even though there's guns out there, I would definitely carry. I'm going to give you some cheaper ones in a second. The Smith & Wesson. So first of all, the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. I don't know how I marked it. So there it is. I was very impressed when they came out with the 2.0. I think it's a great gun. I don't own one. I think they're great. Another great gun that I don't own is the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield Plus. All right. This is, I got to tell you something about this. Like, I'm not a big Smith & Wesson fan. I'll tell you that right out of the gate. But I will give them a lot of props for this gun because it just seems like everything that was wrong with the first Shield, and not that it's not a good gun because I really do think it is, but I think they listened to what people were saying and they like fixed everything that was wrong that they didn't like about it. They made the magazine higher capacity. They made the trigger much better. You know, they just listened to what people said and they fixed everything. And I can't give them enough credit for that. You know, it's very impressive that a gun company comes out and takes the advice of its end users and fixes stuff. You know, another gun we get on there is the Canic.
Mm-hmm.
All right, like here's what I tell you. I love me a Canic. I am a Canic fanboy whore. I will tell you that. I just don't think it can replace what I already have, even though I have a Canic. And you're always going to hear me say this. I bought the Canic just to break it. Because when they first came into the country, my dealer cost on it was $225. And that was in FDE. And it had like 2 18-round magazines, and it came with a holster. I mean, I'm like, hell, I'll shoot it just to break it and make a video of it. And we shot it, and they don't break.
Yeah, I have 2 of them, and they just came out with a smaller one, the subcompact.
Julie bought one of their Mac Daddy guns, and I love this. Like, what happened is they did a thing with is it Salient Arms or whatever?
Yes.
Right, and Salient Arms added 5 parts to the Canic. So what I did is I priced the parts if they were for a Glock because that's all I could find. And the price of the parts, the 5 parts, if you bought the parts, was $761 for the 5 parts. But if you buy the Canic with the 5 parts on it, it's $716.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You get a $50 break, and they throw in a gun. You know, so like I just thought that was like the funniest thing, and Julie's like, "I'm gonna get it." And they make great guns. I don't know what to tell you, man. They don't cost a lot, although they have gone up in price in the last year because everybody's saying they don't cost a lot.
And as he says, we've never seen a single malfunction in classes with the Canic.
Never had one problem with Canic.
Nope.
I'm old enough to remember that gun first came out. They were calling it the Glock killer. Like that's what people phrase it because it was like a Glock, but half the price.
It's like this. I used to train the guy that was, when I was training him, he was the head of the Ferrari F1 Formula team. He was the head of the aerodynamics. So he was the head guy on how the car was shaped, right? And it was awesome because he'd come and he'd take an 8-hour lesson. We'd be on the range all day. But for lunch, we'd drive into town and just talk cars all the way in, all right? So the Canic is the Nissan, what is it, GTR. Because I asked him for that because I love that car. And I'm like, what do you think about this? And he goes, doesn't cost enough. He says, that was a $225,000 car. It'd be one of the most popular supercars on the planet. But since at the time it was only $80,000, he goes, they're not going to get it. They're not going to get the credit that they deserve because it doesn't have the price tag of the big boy cars. Even though performance-wise, it's right up there, if not better than a lot of them, you know. And that's the same thing with the Canic. You're not going to get all the accolades that it deserves, you know, coming in at $450 or $716 for a tricked out to the max version of it. You know, you're not going to get credit for that. You know, I think the last gun, right? We got one more. Is that what it is, Gary?
Get the dagger.
Yeah. No, we already did the P10, so we're doing the PSA dagger. All right, so Julie and I bought 2 of these because they were on sale, and I think mine was $284. $284, but mine's the version up from this because mine has all the slide cuts. It's green, you know, and all this thing is a excuse me. All this is a Gen 3 Glock 19 that they fixed the feeling of the grip, and they put a different trigger shoe on it. What?
Finish with the
right.
That,
so
I'll do the next thing.
We didn't know what to expect when they came in, but we haven't had any problems. Julie's got more rounds to hers than I do mine, but we haven't had any problems with them. And they take all Glock parts for the most part, and we got tricked out versions of them for under $300. So,
all right, so moving on.
All right,
Craig Ziegler. Not a single Kimber on the list. Dang, some of your friends would be disappointed.
I don't have to tell you, man. I did a qualification. We had Craig and another guy with Glocks in the middle, and then 2 guys on the outside both had Kimbers. And the whole qualification, I was like, all right, you people with the Glock, just take a break right now. Waiting for the 2 guys with the Kimbers to continue, to finish clearing their guns, to clearing the jams, finish their volley. It's just,
So, if you remember, like one of the first classes I ever came to you, I brought a friend of mine with me, and he brought his Kimber. So I brought my Glock 19. I also brought my Glock 17 because I knew that he was going to need it eventually. And he brought his Kimber.
That's a wise man.
Literally after like the second set of shooting that we did, his Kimber crapped out on him. It jammed up, it wouldn't work, overheated or whatever, the spring broke. Like he showed it to you and you're like, I don't know what to tell you. And then he used my 17 the entire rest of the day. And then about 4 days later, we went to take aim and he bought a Glock 26 and put his Kimber in the safe. So I didn't even make it through 2 sessions of your training class, and the spring on it broke or whatever, and he couldn't use it. So,
and it's like this. It's not like Kimbers on high quality guns. It just they're not making them. They're mass producing them, and they need to be hand built.
Right.
And what you say? Any what?
I said it's just anecdotal, but that's my experience with it.
It's like this. We pick guns because of our experience in classes. We want to make sure that the guns work. So the EZ never works. It never works. It's always going to have issues. It's not going to fire because you're not on the safety. It's not going to work. All right. We've had Walthers. We've had 2 of them blow up in a class. Not in the same place. I don't want you to think that, but in separate classes, one blew up, then another one blew up. It's just, Rugers always have problems with the trigger. They are, notorious for not being able to shoot correctly and reset your trigger. They get stuck. They don't follow back the same. It's the same thing all the time. Excuse me, 1911.
Let me ask you this. Go ahead.
They don't use this.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, 1911s. Hey, man, that gun won 2 world wars, right?
Yeah, and they were using fucking mules when it did.
Right.
Anybody using a mule anymore?
Yeah. Well, and only it's like anything else, but the officers had them or whatever. But for the most part, it was not the 1911 that was killing the Germans. It was everything else. And nothing against 1911s. I own several of them, but I don't carry them, obviously. So let me ask you this. If somebody does all their research, listens to this, subscribes to Musings with MGL, follows on Frontside Press, narrows it down to the type of gun that they think that they want, would you recommend that before they go purchase that gun, that they see if they can rent that gun at a range and get some shooting on it to make sure that it is also going to be a gun that they want to shoot?
Well, Yes, like if you get a chance to shoot something before you buy it, you always shoot it before you buy it. All right. But the thing is this, and not to be that guy and be a dickhead and stuff like that, but I'm doing all the research for you. Right? I'm doing it all. You know, there's no double action, single action guns on there. There's no single action only guns on there. It's just you pick up the gun, you press the trigger, the gun fires. You know what I mean? Like, I can tell you what works in what we do. Okay? And I can tell you what works with a whole bunch of different people using it. Men, women, freaking children, all right? People with handicaps, elderly people. Like, I can tell you what works. This is not my ego, because if it was my ego, I would tell you that H&K can go suck a dick, all right? But the VP9 is a great gun, and it hurts me to say it because I hate that company, but it's a great gun.
So these are all really great guns. The biggest thing, any of them will work, but you want to make sure they fit your hand. So that's one of the things you need to consider when you're buying one of these.
Well, that's why I guess, like, if you say, let's say you're given a variety of guns at least, but let's say somebody says Glock 19 is the best. It's all around. It's the best carry gun. Everybody should use it. And then I got to imagine, though, there are some people that would get it because of the thickness of the grip or whatever, and they shoot it. They're just not going to like it. It doesn't feel comfortable. They can't shoot it. It always shoots to the left because the sights are off.
Stop.
They just get it anyway.
Glocks feel like shit. Yeah. So if you're expecting it to feel good in your hand,
well, that's my question. Does it go back
go hold a high point
of it doesn't matter whether you like it or not? This is the best gun, so you should learn to like it.
You got to be able to use it, and never choose a gun because it feels good in your hand. I know that's what everybody in the gun shop tells you. Sure. Oh, you want a gun to feel good. No, you don't. You want it to fit well. There's a difference. You know what I mean? Because if we went by, you want the gun to feel good, nobody would own a Glock because they feel like shit. That's why PSA is like, hey, you should try the Dagger. It feels good. Right? And they're right. It feels a lot better than a Glock, even though it's all the Glock parts. You know what I mean? But it's not about how the gun feels in your hand. And I don't give a shit what anybody says. Okay? It's about if the gun fits your hand so you can use it correctly. Right? That's what it's about. You're talking about fighting with something. Okay? You're not talking, it's not a fashion show. I want it to look good and feel good on me. Yeah. You know what doesn't feel good? Getting shot because you picked the wrong friggin' gun. All right? So, stop worrying about how it feels. That's just salesmen tell you that because they don't know shit about guns. You should try this. You want it to feel good, and you should get a revolver or a 22 because you don't look like you're very strong. All right? It's just the same old shit.
You're saying people shouldn't buy guns because they look good, but yet I see all these guns that are pink or like Tiffany blue, and they have like little sparkles and stuff on them. So don't tell me that you can't accessorize with your firearm, sir.
I didn't say you couldn't accessorize. I'm like, don't pick a gun because it just feels good.
Looks pretty.
There's a lot of guns out there that feel good that shoot like shit. Like, here's the deal. I don't care what you say. A high point feels better than a Glock. That is the truth. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what to say. Springfield makes a lot of guns that feel good. I wouldn't freaking trust anything that's not a 1911 from Springfield. They had to throw that in there.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm carrying my Prodigy.
Yeah.
Whoop. That thing weighs like, I feel like I'm walking around with me and you in my holster. Like, that thing.
I know, that's the thing.
Heavy.
Awesome gun, though.
It shoots and the slide goes like this. Like, I can see my front sight moving back and forth like that. That's weird. That's why there's no recoil. That's right. It weighs about 9.5 pounds.
Because it weighs 1,000 pounds. I've carried belt-fed weapons on slings that weighed less than that friggin' Prodigy. It's just. But remember that you're getting a tool to fight with. Like, and as far as the Tiffany blue and the sparkles, who gives a shit?
You know, I always hear people
Yeah.
say, "Oh, I'm going to give you away." You're not in Vietnam. You're not in a jungle. Like, oh, you know what? You're gun. Yeah, okay, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, but who cares? Like, own it. You know what I mean? I got a Galil that's red. It's red and black tiger stripes or something like that. Like, I guarantee if I break that shit out, people are gonna go, there he is. You know what I mean? But you know, you do you, boo. That's it.
Put that Trump 48 Cerakote job on there and fire away.
You know who makes all them, right?
Yeah.
Sharkos is cracking all of those guns out.
Yep.
You know. But all right. We got any more questions? How do we do?
We had 20 people.
Look out.
Does everybody understand how to buy your gun now?
Anybody have any questions?
So, other than watching us, who should people trust? Because the problem is people do go to the gun shops and ask like the people that work at the gun shops or the gun shows, and they're getting bad advice. So I don't know, like, what would you recommend somebody go? Yeah. Like, what do you recommend somebody do?
I don't know. Call me. I'll give you advice. Let me tell you the same thing I'm telling you right now.
Take the class. Start with your class, even though you don't need it anymore. You should start with one. Hopefully, you don't find a good instructor who can point you in the right direction. But yeah, just be wary. A lot of people that work in gun shops are great. They're very knowledgeable. They want to help you pick out the right gun, but some of them just aren't knowledgeable, and some of them might want to sell you the gun that's on sale because they can make more profit on it, whether they think you're going to be able to shoot with it or not. So you always got to keep that in the back of your mind too.
This is what makes me bitter. For 18 years, I stood on the range at Take Aim with people taking lessons from me that had somebody else pick out their gun for them.
Yeah.
And have them not like it, not be able to use it, and have it not work. So that's where I get my advice from. It's not my ego. I'm not telling you to carry what I carry.
Yeah.
You know, go carry an H&K. All right.
All right, we need to wrap this up.
And the last thing I'll say is, I hear a lot about price. Like when people go places and they're like, "Oh, I don't, Glocks are so expensive. I'd rather buy a little one." Look, you're talking about your life. Like you're talking about your life. You're talking about your family's life, your children's lives, other people's lives. Can you really put a price tag on that? I mean, look, everybody's got their own budgets, and I understand that, but don't go to the show and buy the Jam Inez because it's $200 at the end of the thing, because it's $200, and you're going to be like, well, it's going to cost a lot of money. I mean, what price is your life at? You're telling me your price is your life's only worth $300? That doesn't mean you can't find a decent gun out there in that price range. It's okay to kind of look for that stuff. But price should not be, obviously, when you walk into a gun shop and you're looking for your everyday concealed carry that's going to protect you and your family, price should not be your number one topic in my mind that you're looking at. Find the best gun that works for you. That's the main takeaway here is there are a category of guns out there that your training and experience tells you are the guns that everybody should basically carry. You have a wide variety there. You got different grips, different sizes, different capacities. Make sure you just find one that works for you, but it's got to be in this kind of range, because that's it. The last funny story I'll tell you before we go, because everybody's got to go, but on carrying, I was talking to a family member over the weekend who was asking me all about the new law. I hear I can carry here. I can carry there. So, of course, I had to tell him everything about it. And I shit you not, he says, well, I'll be okay because I carry it in my glove compartment with no round in the chamber, and that's 3 steps away from where I'm sitting. So we're at my family's house. My daughter's there with us, and we're all having dinner. And I say, hey, Kara, does Florida have a 3-step law? And she says, no, that's a myth. We've never had a 3-step law.
That's my girl.
So number one, I had to tell my cousin, we don't have a 3-step law. I don't know what you're talking about. And number 2, I said, why are you carrying with no round in the chamber? You might as well have a freaking hammer in your car instead of a firearm. I do not.
And why is it in the glove box?
Yeah.
Right. Well, he didn't before. He didn't have a concealed. Number 1, he should have had a concealed carry, but he didn't have a concealed carry, so he had to carry it in his glove box. Otherwise, he couldn't carry it. Now with the new law, he actually can. that was a conversation that we had. But I do not understand why people insist on carrying with no round in the chamber.
Because the bad guy's going to call ahead. He's going to be like, hey, I'm coming to get you. Go ahead and load your gun.
Right. I mean, I assume you were against that concept, but carry with a freaking round in your gun. Otherwise, you might as well bring a damn hammer because it's a waste of time. Right. The guy's got it in his glove box without a round in it. So somebody tries to carjack you. What the frick do you have? Why do you even have it?
Well, I got a machete next to me too.
It's useless. So anyway, learn the new law.
Play
buy
music.
a gun. Like
peace. Thank you guys.
MGL. See you next week.